The Indiana Fever just dropped 3 bombshells in one interview that prove they're not done getting better. Stephanie White revealed the defensive scheme the entire WNBA is using against Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston admitted something about her health that changes everything. And the Fever announced they're adding another weapon this week. 3 bombshells. 3 reasons the league should be panicking. Let me break them all down. Bombshell number 1. Stephanie White was asked about how teams defend Caitlin Clark differently in the WNBA compared to international basketball. And her answer confirms what everyone already suspected. The entire league is game planning specifically to stop one player.
Teams are going to guard her 94 feet. They're going to try to take away her touches. They're going to try to make everything difficult. We have to do a good job of finding ways that we can get her high percentage looks to where she's...
Guard her 94 feet. That means full court pressure every single possession. That means denying her the ball before she even crosses half court. That means making everything difficult from the moment she touches the ball. Think about what that actually means. Teams don't do that unless they're genuinely afraid of what a player can do. You don't commit resources to pressuring someone 94 feet from the basket unless you believe they can single-handedly destroy your defensive game plan. And Stephanie White's job now is to find ways to free Clark up, to get her high percentage looks despite teams throwing everything at her. That's the adjustment the Fever are making. Because the league has made it clear. Stop Caitlin Clark or lose. This isn't new. Clark dealt with this in college. Iowa's entire offensive system was built around creating space for her because every team they faced did the exact same thing. Full court pressure, denying touches, making her work for everything. But here's the difference. In the WNBA, Clark has Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and a bench unit that just scored 62 points against the Liberty. So when teams commit to pressuring Clark 94 feet, they're opening up opportunities for everyone else. And that's exactly what makes the Fever so dangerous. The preseason game against New York proved it. Clark shot poorly, 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, and the Fever still won by 18. Because the defensive attention on Clark created space for everyone else to operate. That's the reality the WNBA is dealing with. Guard Clark aggressively, and the supporting cast destroys you. Back off and give her space, and Clark herself destroys you. There's no good answer. And Stephanie White just confirmed that teams know it. That's bombshell number 1. But the second one is even bigger, because Aaliyah Boston just revealed something that changes everything about how dangerous this Fever team actually is. If you want breakdowns like this on Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and everything happening in the WNBA, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Now let me show you what Aaliyah Boston just admitted. Aaliyah Boston didn't play in the preseason game against the Liberty. She sat out with a lower leg injury. But when reporters asked her about her health status, her answer was direct. And it should terrify the rest of the league.
Obviously, you didn't play on Saturday. Just how are you feeling in that return to play regimen?
Yeah, feeling great. I mean, we're just doing what we got to do to get back in full swing, but yeah, I'm feeling great.
Think you would have played in a regular season game?
Yeah, 100%.
What did you see?
Boston would have played if it was a regular season game. She sat out Saturday as a precaution, not because she couldn't play, because the Fever are being smart about managing their roster in the preseason. Let that sink in for a second. The Indiana Fever just beat the New York Liberty 109-91 without Aaliyah Boston on the floor. Without the player who just signed the richest contract in WNBA history. Without their starting center who averaged a double-double last season. And they won by 18 points against a team with Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones, 3 All-Stars, a super team. And the Fever didn't even need Boston to dominate them. Now imagine what happens when Boston comes back, when she's anchoring the paint, when she's setting screens for Clark and Mitchell, when she's grabbing rebounds and finishing inside. The Fever just showed they can win without her. So what happens when she's actually playing? Boston confirmed she's feeling great. She's in full swing, and she's ready to go the moment the regular season starts. That means the Fever's dominant preseason win over the Liberty wasn't even their final form. They're still getting better. They're still adding pieces back into the rotation. And Boston specifically mentioned what stood out to her watching from the bench. The pace, the transition offense, the ball movement, everything the Fever wanted to be is already showing up in games. and she hasn't even stepped on the court yet.
That's awesome. I think everyone really found their spots on the floor. They took every shot with confidence, so it was great to see the ball go through the hoop.
Steph was talking post-game about how you guys are a different team once Caitlin's out on the floor. How were you able to see that sitting on the bench in that game?
Yeah, I think the pace changed a little bit, but at the same time, honestly, I think we played pretty fast, and that's how we want to play.
That's how we want to play. Fast, in transition, getting up threes, and they're already doing it without their second best player on the floor. When Boston returns, the Fever aren't just getting a player back. They're completing a championship-level roster. That's bombshell number 2. But the third bombshell proves the Fever aren't done adding weapons, because another key player is returning this week, and she brings something this roster desperately needed. Dantis is coming back, and if you don't know who she is, you're about to find out why her return matters. Dantis is a stretch 5, a center who can shoot the three-pointer at a high level, and Aaliyah Boston made it clear how valuable that skill set is to this team.
Damaris is obviously back this
Yeah.
week. What does it mean to have her, for depth for you and just have her with the team?
It's great. I mean, we know what Didi does. She stretches the floor really well, and there's nothing better than having a post player that shoots the ball as well as she does. And so we're excited that she's back and we're ready to rock and roll.
There's nothing better than having a post player that shoots the ball as well as she does. That's Aaliyah Boston, a post player herself, explaining why Dantis matters. Because when you have a center who can step out and hit threes, defenses can't pack the paint. They have to respect the perimeter, and that creates driving lanes for Clark and Mitchell. The Fever's front court depth is about to be ridiculous. Boston, Dantis, Myisha Hines-Allen, Monique Billings. 4 legitimate post players who can all contribute in different ways. And Dantis specifically gives them the spacing that makes their offense nearly impossible to guard. Think about what a lineup looks like with Clark, Mitchell, and Dantis on the floor together. 3 shooters spaced around the perimeter, Boston operating inside, and Dantis pulling her defender out of the paint so Boston has room to work. Defenses can't help off anyone. Every player is a threat. And Dantis is coming back this week, not next month, not after a few more games. This week, the Fever are about to get even deeper, even more versatile, even harder to game plan against. So let's recap the 3 bombshells. The WNBA is game planning to guard Caitlin Clark 94 feet because they're terrified of what she can do. Aaliyah Boston is fully healthy and would have played if Saturday was a regular season game. And Damaris Dantis is returning this week to give the Fever even more front court depth and spacing. 3 bombshells. 3 reasons the rest of the league should be worried. And 1 team that keeps getting better while everyone else is standing still. Now let's talk about Angel Reese. Because while the Indiana Fever are dropping bombshells and adding weapons, Reese is watching from Atlanta and posting about Fever players on social media. Angel Reese tweeted about Raven Johnson after the Liberty game. Quote, "So proud of my Booski Raven Johnson." That's Reese celebrating a Fever rookie's perfect debut. The same Fever organization that just got all 44 games nationally televised, while her Atlanta dream only got 28. Think about the irony. Reese spent 2 years positioning herself as Caitlin Clark's rival. The narrative was always Reese versus Clark, Chicago versus Indiana. And now, she's cheering for Fever players while her own team deals with dysfunction. Reese got traded to Atlanta after 2 years of declining records in Chicago. And at her introductory press conference, her new teammates roasted her. They said they scored 30 on her. They called her annoying. They said they had their best games when they played against her. Meanwhile, in Indianapolis, rookies like Raven Johnson are delivering perfect debuts. Veterans like Myisha Hines-Allen are calling Caitlin Clark one of the greatest players the game will ever see. And Aaliyah Boston is signing the richest contract in WNBA history while praising her teammates. The contrast couldn't be more obvious. The Fever are ascending, adding pieces, getting healthier, dropping bombshells in interviews that prove they're only getting started. And the Dream are still trying to convince people Angel Reese's presence matters. The regular season starts May 9th. Fever versus Wings. Caitlin Clark, who the entire league is scheming to stop, going up against Paige Buchers and Azzi Fudd. And when that game tips off, the Fever will have Aaliyah Boston back. They'll have Damaris Dantis providing spacing, and they'll have the depth that just scored 62 bench points against a super team. Angel Reese can keep posting supportive messages about Fever players on social media, but at some point she's going to have to deal with the reality that the team she tried to Rival is building a championship contender while her own situation continues to spiral. The Indiana Fever just dropped 3 bombshells. The league is terrified of Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston is ready to return. And Dantis is coming back this week. If that doesn't put the WNBA on notice, nothing will. What do you think? Are the Indiana Fever unstoppable when fully healthy? And should Angel Reese be worried about how far the gap has become between the Fever and the Dream? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest on Caitlin Clark, the Fever, and everything happening in the WNBA. We'll see you in the next one.